No, I think it just takes a lot, and I'm particularly thankful to Mark Cuban, who I think was generous in making the Mavs available for us, and I think understands the potential. We might have considered it even earlier, but last year we didn't have the preseason, so this really was, a high priority for us to get it as soon as possible, and it worked out perfectly this year.
At the back. Mr. Stern, can you describe your relation to Mark Cuban with all the ups and downs in the last couple of years?
Mark and I have a very good relationship. We actually always have. I think it helps his profile when I find him, so I'm always happy to help him. But he's been a source of information and advice on all things digital and broadcast. At the same time, when I was yelling at him for some real or perceived transgression. So we've always had a very good relationship. I welcomed him to, last night as when he got here, and as he was heading over to the American Chamber of Commerce dinner that was honoring Dirk. It was particularly great for me to see him in a suit and a tie. And that's out of respect to Dirk Nowitzki. So Dirk's the one that could do that. But I have a very good relationship with Mark.
Bastian Teinert for Sky, Mr. Stern. A question to the upcoming season: which team is going to be the top teams in your mind, and which team is ready for a surprise, maybe?
I don't know anything about basketball. I just read the newspapers and the magazines and the blogs and all the .coms. And it seems that everybody has decided that it's going to be amongst Miami and Los Angeles and Oklahoma City. But the good thing about our league is we're going to have to play the season to find out. San Antonio thinks that Tim Duncan has one more good season in those legs at least. Dallas has retooled in a very unusual and good way. I think they think that Dirk has a championship run in him. Brooklyn thinks that the game was invented in Brooklyn, and the Knicks think it's their time. And the first thing the Celtics did was sign Jason Terry from Dallas, and he announced that the Celtics were going to win the championship. And the Clippers, have gotten better and better, and so I'm not even being fair to all of the other teams in the NBA, because Philadelphia thinks that with Andrew Bynum, they're a whole new team ready to go. So we're going to have a great season. I'm really very excited about the season. And, ask me the question again in June and I'll have a better answer.
In the middle, Andre?
Andre Voigt from 5 Magazine. Commissioner Stern, you talked about growing the game in Germany, but in reality for the last 15 years, even though we had Dirk Nowitzki, the game didn't really grow over here. We don't have a television contract, you don't have the NBA on free TV. What are your plans to grow in the game the next couple of years when Dirk is retired?
I would say that the way you grow the game is to get more kids to play it, and I think that in our meetings with the Federation, the fact that there are more, I would say, teams representing regions or cities amongst kids of high school age playing against each other, and the various programs I think that the Federation does for youth development, and that we're going to work on with the Federation for youth development. I've been at this for too long to think that free television is the answer. In the U.S., we're predominantly on paid television. We're on cable and we're on satellite. In Europe, we're on Canal Plus and Canal Plus, Spain, France, Sky sports in Italy. I'm going to the game tonight. I'll be with Sky Deutschland, and I think it's wise for us to focus on the digital availability of space because, frankly, our game does not draw the major audiences that the owners of free television need to have in prime time. That's just the way it is. But we've got plenty of opportunity to grow, and that's a good thing. And I think it's about grassroots. I think it's getting a little bit better presence than we currently have on satellite and cable delivered services. I'm comfortable that it will happen. I truly am, and I see much more interest. Germany is the second ranking country in what we call our League Pass broadband. If any of you would like to subscribe tonight, I'm sure we'll get the forms. You can see 1,000 NBA games if you're an NBA fan, and you can see them on your PC, on your laptop, on your smartphone. And I think that's the wave of the future for us on a global basis. A one-to-one relationship potentially with our fans, or a partnership with a TV network and the ability with that network to deliver games to our fans, what I would call League Pass Broadband International. And we think this is going to be our first full season of that, and it's going to have enormous growth on a global basis, including in Germany.
I had one more question.
Oh, you have one more question. You didn't like that answer?
No, I love the answer.
Long?
But
Okay.
I love the answer, but can you go into detail about the cooperation with the BBL? The cooperation you have as a league?
Well, I would say it's more, it's with the federation. I met with Mr. Weiss and the executive director. We had several meetings this morning and this afternoon and previously, and we're looking at just an array of the youth competitions and the youth, they have the bronze, silver, gold in the schools for measuring competence and proficiency in basketball. And we've said we'd like to, if they'd like to expand that, offering NBA-related opportunities to kids, even up to traveling to the next All-Star game or whatever, visits perhaps with our coaches and even referees. We have a wide array of collaboration with different federations around the world, and we have a menu, and they usually want to talk about coaching collaborations, referee issues, because everyone doesn't like referees on a global basis. They yell at the referees, but we can share both our miseries and our expertise on that, because I happen to think our referees are the best in the world. You'll see that tonight. So it's a very open slate, but we're particularly keen on the fact that they're talking to kids at the high school level and below to get them more interested in developing basketball skills.
To the left, just behind you.
Patrick Baby, 105.5 Spreeradio. Mr. Stern, you're touring the world with the NBA teams to promote the NBA internationally, but how important is it for foreign-based or born players to be successful in the NBA? Looking at Tony Parker, Dirk Nowitzki, Yao Ming, how important is that?
Actually, we're touring the world to promote basketball. We think that at the highest level, that's a good thing, but basically, the reason we went into the Olympics in 1992 was to respond to FIBA's request that the best thing to promote basketball would be if the NBA allowed its players to contribute. Little did I think I understand at that time that the result of that would be an improvement, a dramatic improvement of the level of play in the world much more quickly than any of the so-called experts figured. And as a result, although we didn't do it as a recruiting tool, it has resulted in us going into our rosters, into our season this year with over 90 international players on our rosters at training camp, which is an extraordinary gift to the NBA of international talent. And so that's a dividend, a very large dividend of us promoting the sport on a global basis. And of course it's important when you think that we have the equivalent of 8 roster 8 teams of international players. I know it doesn't make Jordy as happy as he can be, especially with the younger players, because that's a subject that we have had many discussions about, because there's some concern, I think justifiable, that a young player, international, who comes too soon and then doesn't make it, may never achieve his ultimate potential. And I share Jordy's concern. We just haven't found a way to work that out to our mutual satisfaction.
Any more questions? To the middle, center.
Jako Waczyński przegląd sportowy Poland. Też are there any new countries you want to play NBA European games, and it's possible that Poland will be among the next few years?
It's not presently in our plans because we're in light of the fact that Brazil is going to have both the FIBA World Cup and the Olympics. We're beginning to look a little bit south, and I see whether there's a game that we can do with respect to Latin America, but we depend upon our partners at the EuroLeague to talk about the best teams and the best cities in their league. And so, Jordy, is Poland in our future?
Well, I think that Poland it's improving, and this year our team in Poland will open a new building, so it's an opportunity at least to be taken into consideration. Then we have to see if fit all the other requirements that we are expecting from this game, so probably in the future.
So what about the Final Four of EuroLeague?
In Poland as well, so
Good,
you want everything? You want everything?
Good.
So,
Something, anything.
well, you know that we have our partnership with AEG as well, and we have committed this year the Final Four in London and next year as well. So we have time to see and to decide where we're going to be on 2015. So Poland is an option, so everything is open.
How big is the building in Poland?
The building is in Sopot, but in fact Sopot, Gans, correct me if I am wrong, so they have a new building, sorry?
At the border of the city.
Yes, in the border of the city, it's a complicated thing to explain. But at the end they have a building which is 13,000 spectators, 14,000 spectators, and that new one.
Good.
Our team will move to play there this year.
Commissioner, Chuck Cooperstein with the Mavericks Radio. Given tonight we're going to see kind of a combination of NBA rules and European rules, FIBA rules being played, could you ever imagine a time where there will be a true standardization of rules?
Not during my commissionership and probably not during my lifetime. We have presented for the consideration of the competition committee the whole issue of basket interference, goaltending, to whether they were interested in adopting the European rule, which I think would make it much easier for the officials, because that's a tough call. It's the call that we get wrong the most of all of our calls. But there was no great enthusiasm for that. And again, even with respect to allowing a zone, our coaches and teams are tentative in their approach to that. But in many respects, our game has come much closer. The line has moved out. The ball must be touched out of bounds by the referee. It's down to 4 periods. Our game is the paint has gotten wider. So there are incremental changes that we're getting to, but I just don't know if we'll ever get all the way there.
I just want to add that probably will be much more easy that we are moving to some of the aspects that David has already mentioned. In fact, we already has approved in our internal technical commission to present some change of the rules more in the line of the NBA rules in terms of to protect all the rules that can protect the talented players and make the game more spectacular and more fast. I think it has to be considered because we need to improve the game. So probably some of the aspects will move more in this direction.
But we have learned a lot from the FIBA rules. You know, our tenths of seconds. We were in a game here 1 year and we're saying, why do they have tenths of seconds and we don't? And we went back and we changed our clock. And then I think they looked at our 24-second clock and said, why don't we have a 24-second clock? And so and these games are interesting to see. You know, and we obviously we've been at it a lot longer than the EuroLeague has, but there's nothing that we can't learn from them as they make their changes. We're always watching the game to see what changes we can make.
The final question to the right.
Yeah, to David, with the Final Four coming to London and the amount of promotion the NBA does in London, does it worry you that the game domestically still doesn't seem to be growing?
No, I've been at this now, plus or minus 30 some odd years, and so I have a very long term idea. It will grow. It will grow in small increments, but we've seen it happen all over the world. And we think that there was a burst of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, the English team didn't do as the UK team didn't do as well as they had hoped they would do. But I think that with with our games on ESPN, hopefully on B Sky B, you will continue to see a growth in basketball in the UK. But no promises of an immediate explosion. It's just going to be long and hard. We've been in China since 1988. We played our first game in Italy in '84. We went to Russia in '88 for the first time. These are all I can say is that there are more young people, more registered FIBA basketball players in the world than ever before by a very important factor. I don't know all the numbers. So we think that's a good thing, and with FIBA promoting 3-on-3 basketball, which is bringing more people to our game, we think the future looks very, very bright.